Welcome back to Dash for Adventure. Welcome to Old Stone Fort Archaeological Site on the back roads of Tennessee. Check out that dam. That was built in 1963, which would have been 3 years before this became a state park in 1966. That is the Duck River. And that dam was not any part of the other installations that were built here. Because of the river, there were some installations here for gunpowder, mills, other items that were here. We'll detail those later. What's most amazing about this site is that it is an actual archaeological site. It dates back 1,500 to 2,000 years ago. So the cool thing about this archaeological site is this is a prehistoric Native American ceremonial site. And this property has been placed on the National Register of Historic Places. So let's go back in time about 1,500 to 2,000 years ago and explore what was here long before the earliest of settlers came. It's believed that the proximity of this location between the Duck River in front of us now and the Little Duck River, that we'll see in a moment, is a great place for ceremonial activities. So as we walk into the grounds, this would have been the main entrance. And if you look on the left and on the right, you'll see these mounds. And these mounds were part of an escarpment, some walls that were built. I hope in some areas we'll actually get to see some of the remains of the walls themselves. But this would have been the entrance to the grand ceremonial grounds. It's a 50-acre site surrounded by walls, escarpments, mounds, and river. So look at these mounds, and you'll see some of the debris. Look at the wall, debris over there. And this would have been the eastern gateway. We are here coming in. This was built within 1 degree of the sunrise of the summer solstice. You can still see rock debris in the mounds. Archaeologists found very few signs of food stores, any kind of housing artifacts. The only thing that tells them that this was old was the walls themselves, the mounds, and the research they did on those. And this large open field in this area would have been a great location for hunting, for wildlife, deer. Maybe that's what it was used for, to meet here and go hunting. Okay, now we're on the Little Duck River side of the area, and you can still see the mounds. These mounds line this trail and line this area, and over there is the Little Duck River. And to the right is the open field. Archaeologists have found other areas like this, and that's why they believe this was a ceremonial area, probably used for negotiations with the early tribes. And this place actually predates the Cherokee Nation. Prominent archaeologists labeled this the most spectacularly sighted of these woodland sacred places because of the hilltop that was protected by these early Indian tribes. And there's the hilltop. Beautiful. That's the Little Duck River. I hope to find out in our visit here today exactly what types of ceremonies were held here. Was it like initiations of the new chiefs? Is this maybe where they celebrated the voting in of a new chief or appointment of a new chief? What types of ceremonies do you think would have been held here? Oh wow. Check that out. If it was a warmer day, I would jump in there. Would you?
Yep.
We're back at the top. Let's walk out here and take a peek of the ceremonial grounds and see what it looks like about midway through. Over there is where we came in. Wow. This is beautiful. This is only slightly light hiking, but still, you're better off if you remember to bring your boots, unlike me and my sandals. Not a good idea. Still fun though. The mound walls meet the cliffs. Wow, look at that. That's absolutely cool. So the mound actually end on the eastern side. They actually end right here. And then the rest of this part of the property is defined by these cliffs that are right here. But the entire area here brought together the Woodlands people of the local area. And it was these ceremonial grounds that helped ease the tensions between the different peoples that also led to the creation of tribes. I mean, seriously, the beautiful rivers and waterfalls and little ponds and blue holes on either side of these grounds. Today, that'd be enough to bring people together and having a good time. And up there's the hilltop. Check this out. We're walking right on the edge of this cliff. And there's a little walkway right here. And that goes almost straight down. Be a little bumpy on the way down. And a splash at the end. Personally, I think it would be really cool to go out on that island. That's an island right there between two rivers. Actually, it's one river that splits. It's the Little Duck River that splits on either side of this island, and then it comes back together right over there. I think it would be cool to camp on that island. Some more of the hilltop up there. And we're just hiking all the way around this hilltop ceremonial area. And evidently this escarpment up behind us here, this hill, the soil here was not really conducive to growing crops and plants, so it was more for wildlife. And it's all these different factors that come into play when the archaeologists try to determine what this land was used for. And right there is where the river comes back together at the other side of that island. Wow. We have optional trails. The wall starts again, right up here.
The wall in front of you begins the longest continuous segment of mound wall at the old stone fort.
And now we're going to walk behind them for now. So the reason why it's called Old Stone Fort is because when European settlers first arrived in the area and they saw the mounds and the remnants of the rock walls, to them it looked like an old fort from earlier expeditions or travelers. It wasn't until many decades later, well over a century in fact, that archaeologists started digging around and finding out truly the origins of this area. It may not look like it, but as you walk on this trail below the wall, the mound is right there. That is the actual wall, the mound wall. And there's remnants of stone in there. That's where we've been. And that's where we're going. Oh, look, I think there's a walkway, a set of steps to get to the top of the mound. All right, so now we're at the southernmost point of the ceremonial grounds and a little out of breath.
The moat is an abandoned river channel.
Here's the mound.
Duck River, Big Duck, or Barren Fork once flowed through the abandoned river valley below you.
That would have been down there. They still connect, but they connect further, probably on the other side of that ridge. Oh, look at this. Beautiful worn trail. And you can have a seat out here and enjoy the view. I bet on spring mornings, that field would be full of deer. At one time, it was probably full of elk too. Yeah, this on the left is still the mound.
Yep.
And this mound has been here for so many years. The base of trees are on top of it. Even this one. Look at this massive tree right here. And for the most part, that tree is sitting on top of the mound, or at least in the mound. Then again, you have to remember, archaeologists say this is 1,500 to 2,000 years old. Oh, look ahead. We've got a modified trail for your comfort only. That's right. Come out to Old Stone Fort Archaeological Site and enjoy the new part of our trail. Easy on the feet.
And the ankles.
Oh, look at squirrel. Squirrel. So we're about to approach the highest wall segment. Look how tall that is. And it has a notch right here, which apparently archaeologists have discovered is common in these types of early Native American structures. I know from previous visits here that we're now approaching the Duck River side of the grounds, and the Duck River will be over here to the left of those mounds. If you look back where we've walked, you can see the mound right there. That mound is full of stone, and in some areas the stone was still stacked above it. Alternate trails, which I believe takes you all the way down to the river. Okay, we're going to go down this alternate trail for a moment, see if we can see some water. And there it is. There's the Duck River over there. But as Paula was talking about earlier, it used to wrap around through here.
It's the moat trail. That's
The
what
moat
this
trail.
is.
And over years, like rivers do,
It broke through over there.
it broke through over there and eroded through until it realigned itself.
I think it's called Backbone Ridge that it broke through.
Cool.
Yep.
And if you have any doubt, remember, in Native American world, women were the rulers. So I will always defer to Paula because she's the queen. Oh crap, that means I gotta buy her some of those dang dogs. What are they called?
What?
What are those dogs called?
Oh, a corgi.
She wants corgis.
Mills interrupted the walls. In the 1800s, industrialists found the waterfalls of the area an ideal settings for water-powered mills and factories.
So some of these areas were completely flattened for mills. I think there were 3 or 4 different operations here over the years. Yeah, if you look at this area here, you can see that the mounds are gone, unless that's them up there, but I don't think so. The mounds are out here. And you can see right here, it's just flat. So most likely that mill that Paula was talking about was right here, because there's also a waterfall right down there. Probably helped to drive the mill. Yeah, so there it is. You can see concrete and debris down there from where there used to be some kind of structure. So somewhere down in here was one of those mills. That's cool. Wow, there's a little hole. Now the trail is going down a graded slope. Do not use your Jake brake. There's a plaque that tells you about the uses of water in different cultures. Big Falls, the largest single drop on the Big Duck River, would have been of particular significance to the builders of the old stone fort. So there was a second mill that was out here, and it was driven by water power. You can see some of the remains down in there. And where we were walking, there's actually very little evidence of the mounds because they were torn down between those 2 mills in the 1800s. That looks like rock, but really, if you look close, it almost looks like concrete that's been worn in a mill setting or a factory setting. It just seems too smooth and too human created. So this was probably an area where one of the 2 mills were located. We are nowhere near the end of the trail yet, so this is a completely different waterfall, or set of waterfalls, I should say. And that's where the kids go swimming every summer, in between those 2 falls, actually all around it. All right, we're going to climb back up to the main trail. We had to come down here and see these waterfalls, though. They're absolutely beautiful. We're going to go above the wall this time. So, just past the 2 mill sites, the wall picks up again. Right over here on the left. Yep, so there's the wall. Going back down towards those waterfalls, you can see it right through here. It doesn't seem to be as tall as before, but on this side it is. The top side over here is probably worn some from the industrial age or the 1800s when they had mills here. The old stone fort and all the mills that were here. I believe this is the main mill, is what they call it. You can see the ruins here for the main mill. But there was also a pulp mill, a wrapping mill, and during the Civil War, there was a gunpowder mill used by the Confederate forces. And look at this. This was the main mill. The mill's been here so long again. There's trees growing in it. But look at this. This was massive. Right here above the Duck River. There's still some iron left here in the ground. And it definitely has some age and patina on it. Check that out. And we're at the front of the main mill, and you can see man-made concrete areas down here around the water. And there's actually a wall beneath us, a more modern wall, an 1800s era wall that we're standing on. That's pretty cool.
In the 1800s, people exchanged letters and maps concerning the wonders of the frontier, such as the old stone fort.
There's another one of those notches in the mound. Okay. This is the actual waterfall built in 1963. Right there. There's a hole in that tree. That high volume of a waterfall. Could you sleep with that going on in the background? I think I could. All right. We're back at the visitor center. It's amazing the wonders you can find, even in your neck of the woods. Promise. There's some archaeological sites, beautiful state parks. Get out there and adventure. Lose your breath in the wild. Did you enjoy our hike today?
I did.
What was the best thing about it?
The waterfalls.
Right. I enjoy the history, but the waterfalls were amazing too.
It's calming.
Yes, it was. Check out this overlook. Oh. And the sunset. All right, guys, we appreciate you joining us today on our little adventure to Old Stone Fort. We'll see you in the comments. If you like our quirky videos, please like and subscribe.
Y'all come back, you hear?
See you next time. Well, we just got 16 gallons of gas and it was $60. Now, I think I've spotted a way to start saving gas money. I think if we just pull right up on this ramp right here and just park for a little while, we might be able to save some gas. What do you think?